Revelation 826. From the 24th of March 1939. Hour of Death. Without preparation. Agony of the Demise. In the middle of life, man begins to think about questions relating to his bodily end. During this time, the thoughts of a sudden end haunt him. He tries to avoid them at first, yet he will always listen to them. It is like a constant urging to keep these questions in mind. It is like a continuous admonition to remember his end and to have an opinion about it. Spiritual powers use any moment to remind man of it, and it is truly only of advantage for the soul to pay attention to such thoughts. An unguarded moment can already put an end to existence on earth, and no one has the power to prolong his life on earth by 1 hour when the time of his death has come. And therefore everyone should be prepared to give up earthly life at any time, to enter the eternal kingdom. He should consciously deal with his continuation of life after death. He should adjust his earthly life in such a way that it is completely in harmony with his earthly task and is therefore only a preparation time for the actual life in the hereafter. If a constant control of himself is maintained as to whether the earthly life corresponds to the divine commandments, if man makes it his business to serve the Creator of heaven and earth, if he always seeks connection with him and thus consciously prepares himself and works on his soul, then the thought of death will not frighten him. He will feel it rather pleasant and learn to regard the hour of death as the hour of liberation from the bodily fetters. The people on the other hand who fearfully ward off every thought of it, or who let the admonitions pass by completely indifferently, will have an easy earthly life because they do not bother with anything what could shake them out of their rest. They will continue to live into the day without any sense of responsibility. They will also never impose any restrictions on themselves for the sake of a possible survival. They will reject everything that is presented to them as a task in life. But when death approaches, they will fall into a terrible restlessness and will now get to taste all its horrors in full, if they have not been made accessible to other thoughts beforehand through a long time of suffering. The hour of death will not be welcome to them. They still cling to earthly life with all the fibers of their being and do not desire to exchange it for another, because they are not in the least prepared for this. But the hour of separation comes for all, and often unforeseen. An unprepared person feels all the agonies of passing away, and his end is truly not enviable. And yet, every person has it in his own hands to make this hour an hour of salvation, if he always lives his earthly life in such a way that he does not need to fear the responsibility. That he can give his life back to the Father in heaven, at every hour with a childlike confidence of finding his mercy and his love, because this earthly life was lived in constant connection with him. Amen.